In the old days, when the moon was still young and the gods walked close to the rivers, there lived a woman named Mama Adeola in a quiet village by the banks of the Oshun River. She was known for her gentle heart and her hard-working hands, yet her eyes always carried the shadow of sorrow. For many years, her womb had remained empty. While other women carried children on their backs, her back was light, her hands empty, and her hut silent. When she passed through the market square, women would pause their gossip, lower their voices, and watch her walk with a slow, quiet dignity. Children would run past her laughing, and her heart would ache like a calabash struck by the pestle. Every morning she would sweep her compound clean, light a small fire, and cook for herself. Then, when the sun climbed high, she would take her calabash and walk to the riverbank. There she would kneel by the flowing water, tears mixing with the ripples, and cry out, "Yemoja, mother of fishes, mother of the deep waters, have mercy on me. My womb is dry, but my heart is full of longing. Give me a child, even if that child comes from your very waters." Day after day she went to the same spot. The villagers whispered that she had gone mad, but she did not stop. She sang songs of sorrow, her voice rising above the croaking frogs and the whispering reeds. Time passed, moons waxed and waned, yet she did not give up. Her cries became part of the river's song. Then, one evening, when the sun had begun to sleep and the first stars opened their eyes, the river stirred. The wind grew still, the air thickened, and the water began to shimmer like a mirror touched by light. Mama Adeola froze, her heart pounding. Out of the water rose a woman. Tall, graceful, her skin glistening like the moon's reflection on the river. She wore a crown of cowries, and her voice was like a lullaby and thunder at once. "Mama Adeola," said the woman, "your cries have reached the bottom of the river. Your tears have become pearls in my kingdom. Why do you call me every day with such sorrow?" Trembling, Mama Adeola bowed her head low. "Great Mother Yemoja, I am a woman without a child. My house is empty, my nights are long, and my heart aches with silence. I beg you, give me a child to call mine, even if that child comes not from my womb." Yemoja looked at her with eyes deep as the ocean's floor. "You have shown patience, daughter of the earth. Your heart is pure, and your longing has touched even the spirits that sleep beneath the currents. You shall have a child." Mama Adeola gasped, her hands trembling like leaves in the wind. "But listen carefully," Yemoja continued. "You will not conceive as other women do. You will mold your child from the clay of this riverbank, the clay that carries my essence. Shape her with your hands, breathe your love into her, and she shall live." Mama Adeola fell on her knees, her face to the earth. "O Mother of the Waters, I will do as you command." But Yemoja raised a warning hand. "There is a condition. The child must never be touched by rain. If the rain falls upon her, she will return to the clay from which she came." Then, with a swirl of silver mist, the river goddess sank back into the water, leaving only ripples behind. Mama Adeola remained kneeling long after the waves had stilled, her mind swirling like the river itself. Then, with a heart full of faith, she gathered the smooth clay from the riverbank, shaped it carefully into the form of a small girl with tender eyes, tiny fingers, and a smile frozen in hope. When she finished, she whispered, "You shall be called Ami, child of water." She placed the clay child into a large earthen pot, covered it with cloth, and kept it safe inside her hut as Yemoja had commanded. For 30 days and 30 nights she prayed, sang lullabies, and offered libations to the river. The village women mocked her. "She has gone mad," they said. "Now she is singing to a pot." But Mama Adeola paid them no mind. Her faith was stronger than their laughter. When the moon completed its cycle, she uncovered the pot and gasped. Inside lay a baby girl, breathing softly, her skin smooth and warm like life itself. Mama Adeola cried tears of joy, lifting the child in trembling arms. "Oh, Yemoja, your word has come true. You have turned clay to life." The child yawned and smiled. The woman danced around her hut, singing praises, tears washing her face. That day, the village saw her dancing in the marketplace, her joy uncontained. "The barren woman has a child. Yemoja has blessed her." And so began the tale of Ami, the child born of clay and water.
The years passed like gentle ripples over a calm stream. Ami, the child of clay and water, grew strong and beautiful under her mother's watchful eyes. Her laughter filled the compound, her tiny feet pattered over the red earth, and her songs danced with the wind. Her mother, Mama Adeola, never tired of gazing at her. Sometimes when Ami slept, she would sit beside her and whisper, "You are my miracle, my proof that the gods still hear." Yet beneath that joy lived a quiet fear, a constant reminder of Yemoja's warning, the child must never be touched by rain. So when dark clouds gathered and the smell of rain filled the air, Mama Adeola would call out sharply, "Ami, come inside. It is time to stay close to mother." And Ami would run, her little feet kicking dust as she laughed and ducked into their small hut. Mama Adeola would close the door, sit beside her, and sing until the rain passed. The other children in the village loved Ami. She was cheerful and kind, her eyes bright like morning dew. They played under the trees, chasing butterflies and skipping stones by the river. But when rain threatened and the first drops began to fall, Ami was always the first to run away. Some children teased her. "Why do you fear the rain, Ami? Are you made of sugar?" Ami would laugh lightly but never answer. Her mother's warning echoed in her heart like a drumbeat. "The rain is not for you, my daughter. You must never, ever let it touch you." Sometimes at night, when the world was quiet and the crickets sang, Mama Adeola would look at her sleeping child and wonder, "Does Yemoja watch us still? Will the river always protect her?" But she never spoke her fears aloud. One year, the village prepared for the Festival of Rivers, a celebration of Yemoja and all water spirits. There were drums, singing, and dancing. The riverbank was alive with color. Blue and white wrappers, painted faces, the smell of roasted yam and palm oil filling the air. Ami, now about 5 years old, stood at the edge of the crowd, eyes wide with wonder. She loved the drums. Their rhythm thumped in her small chest like a heartbeat. She tugged her mother's hand. "Mama, can I dance too?" Mama Adeola smiled. "Dance, my child. The river gave you life. She will love your dance." So Ami danced, light, graceful, twirling like the wind over water. The crowd clapped and cheered. "Yemoja's daughter dances like the river herself," they shouted. Mama Adeola watched with tears in her eyes. Her child was a miracle, a living gift. But deep within, she felt the shadow of fear. For every joy, she knew, the gods placed a warning. That evening, after the celebration, Mama Adeola sat beside the hearth and called Ami close. "My daughter," she began softly, "the river blessed you, but you must remember her rule." Ami looked up at her mother with curious eyes. "I know, Mama. You say it every time the clouds turn gray." Mama Adeola smiled, but her tone grew solemn. "It is not a small warning, Ami. Rain is not for you. You were made from the clay by the river, and the rain would seek to return you there. Promise me again, my child, that you will never play in it." The girl placed her small hand over her mother's. "I promise, Mama, I will stay inside whenever the rain comes." Mama Adeola exhaled and nodded, but she could not shake the unease that lingered in her chest. One night, when the moon was thin and white, Mama Adeola dreamed she stood again by the river. The waters were dark and restless, whispering secrets she could not understand. Then Yemoja appeared, her face half hidden by mist. The covenant must be remembered. The clay must not return to the earth before its time. Mama Adeola woke, trembling. The night was silent except for the chirping of frogs. She rose quietly, stepped outside, and poured water onto the ground in offering. "I remember, Great Mother, I remember." She looked toward the horizon, where the river glimmered faintly under moonlight, peaceful but powerful, like the goddess herself. From that day, she watched Ami more closely. She taught her stories, proverbs, and songs about obedience and destiny. She told her that every life has a secret that must be guarded. "Listen, my daughter," she would say. "Not all dangers roar like lions. Some fall softly, like the rain." And Ami, though playful and curious, would nod and listen. But the world is wide, and children's hearts are light. Promises, even sacred ones, sometimes fade beneath the laughter of play.
The sun rose faithfully over Ileolumo, the quiet village by the river, marking the passage of seasons. Ami grew into a lively child, her hair thick and coiled, her eyes bright with curiosity, her laughter like wind bells in the harmattan. To her mother, she was the rhythm of the heart, the drumbeat of joy that filled a once empty home. Every morning, when the cock crowed, Mama Adeola would rise, sweep her yard clean, and call to Ami. "Hey, yo, mommy! Wake up, child of the river! The day waits for no one!" Together they fetched water, pounded yam, and sang songs of gratitude. The village women adored the little girl. They would pinch her cheeks and say, "Ah, see Yemoja's blessing! Such beauty cannot come from this world alone." Ami would smile shyly, clutching her mother's wrapper. But soon, as she grew older, she ran with the other children, barefoot through the red dust, chasing goats, spinning tops, and dancing in circles. Mama Adeola would watch her with a heart full of pride and fear. Each day of laughter felt like a gift stolen from fate. Children are the wind. They do not stay still. Ami's joy was boundless, and her spirit wild like the river that had birthed her. She was gentle, yet she loved to test the edges of her world. One dry season afternoon, when the sun beat down upon the earth and the air shimmered with heat, Ami and her friends played near the big iroko tree by the village square. They built tiny huts of leaves, played ayo, and sang folk songs their mothers had taught them. Then Toby, one of the boys, pointed at the sky. "See that cloud, Ami? Do you fear it?" Ami glanced upward. The clouds were gathering, gray and swollen, but still far away. She smiled. "It's only a shadow, Toby. The rain is still sleeping." The children giggled and continued to play. But across the fields, Mama Adeola, who had gone to sell vegetables, looked up from her stall. The wind had changed. The smell of rain carried through the air, the scent of wet earth before the first drop. Her heart leapt in her chest. She dropped her calabash and began to run toward the square. That evening, when Ami returned home, her mother's face was stern. "Ami," she said quietly, "why did you not come home when the sky turned dark?" The girl lowered her head. "I thought the rain would not come yet, Mama. We were only playing." Mama Adeola took her small hands in hers, trembling slightly. "My child, you were born of clay. Do you know what rain does to clay?" Ami shook her head slowly.
It melts it, my daughter. It turns it back to the earth. Do you want to leave me? Do you want to return to the river that made you?" Tears filled the girl's eyes. "No, Mama, I don't want to leave you." Mama Adeola embraced her tightly. "Then listen to me always. When I call, you must come. When the sky darkens, you must hide. The rain is not your friend. It is the one thing that can take you away." The girl nodded solemnly, whispering, "I will never forget, Mama." But the memory of fear does not always last as long as the sweetness of play. Seasons changed once more. The harmattan winds came and went. The fields turned green again, and the sound of frogs returned to the night air. Ami grew taller, her limbs slender, her laughter more melodic. She helped her mother grind pepper, weave baskets, and fetch water from the well, but never the river. She learned to sing the praise songs of Yemoja, her divine mother. Sometimes when the moon was full, Mama Adeola would tell her stories by firelight. Tales of the gods, of Obatala, who molded humans from clay, and of Yemoja, who gave life to the waters. "So you see, my daughter, you are made from both, the earth and the river. You are balance itself. But remember, even balance can be broken." Ami would rest her head on her mother's lap, listening until sleep took her. One morning, the sky awoke moody and uncertain. The sun rose pale, veiled behind thin clouds that drifted like forgotten spirits. The air was heavy. Even the birds sang lazily. But to children, clouds mean nothing until they weep. Ami and her friends were playing by the field near the yam barns. They were making dolls from corn husks, pretending to cook imaginary meals. The laughter was wild and unrestrained. Then Toby, one of the boys, pointed at the sky. "See that cloud, Ami? Do you fear it?" Ami glanced upward. The clouds were gathering, gray and swollen, but still far away. She smiled. "It's only a shadow, Toby. The rain is still sleeping." The children giggled and continued to play. But across the fields, Mama Adeola, who had gone to sell vegetables, looked up from her stall. The wind had changed. The smell of rain carried through the air. The scent of wet earth before the first drop. Her heart leapt in her chest. She dropped her calabash and began to run toward the square. Far ahead, Ami heard her mother's voice faintly carried by the wind. She turned, eyes wide. The first drop of rain touched her arm, cool and innocent. She gasped, "The rain!" And that was the beginning of the end.
The first drop struck Ami's arm like a whisper from fate. It rolled down her skin, glistening like a tear. For an instant, it felt cool and harmless, almost pleasant, but deep inside her, something stirred. She looked up. The sky had turned the color of wet charcoal, heavy and swollen. The wind sighed through the fields, bending the tall grasses. Then came another drop, and another, each one heavier, colder, more insistent. Panic fluttered in her chest. Mama said not to let it touch me. I must go home. She turned and ran, her little legs kicking through the red dust that was already turning to mud. The other children scuttered, squealing as the rain began to pour in earnest. "Run, Ami, run!" From the path beyond the fields, Mama Adeola appeared, her wape soaked, her hair plastered to her face, her eyes wild with fear. "Ami, Ami, my child, run to me!" Her voice tore through the wind. Ami saw her mother and ran harder, arms pumping, feet splashing through puddles. But the rain was faster. It fell in sheets now, drumming against the earth, against her tiny body, washing, dissolving, claiming. "No!" Mama Adeola screamed, stumbling forward. "Keep running, my child! Don't stop! Don't let it touch you!" But it was too late. Ami's steps began to falter. Her arms felt heavy,
her skin slick and soft. She looked down and saw that the rain had turned her skin pale and glistening like wet clay. Her fingers blurred at the edges, melting back into what they once were. "Mama," she cried, voice trembling. "Mama, help me." Mama Adeola ran faster, her heart breaking. "I'm here. Just a little more, my daughter, a little more." But the girl stumbled. Her knees gave way. Her body began to crumble, piece by piece. Her hands dissolving like dust, her face softening, her eyes wide and frightened. She tried to reach her mother, but her arm collapsed into the mud. "Mama, I'm cold." Mama Adeola fell to her knees in the rain, reaching out desperately, but all she could gather were handfuls of clay. Clay and water, and the faint scent of her child. Her scream pierced the storm. The rain fell without mercy that day. It washed through the village, through the fields, through the heart of one woman who knelt in the mud, rocking the clay remains of her only child. When the storm passed, the villagers found her there, silent, her eyes empty, her hands stained with earth. They dared not speak. The oldest among them, the priestess of Yemoja, stepped forward slowly and placed a hand on Mama Adeola's shoulder. "The river has taken what she gave," she said softly. "Clay cannot defy its maker." Mama Adeola did not answer. She looked toward the river, calm again under the fading light, and whispered, "You promised me a child, Mother of Waters, and I kept my promise, but you did not say how long the gift would stay." A wind stirred the reeds by the riverbank, carrying the faintest sound, like a child's laughter echoing from beneath the waves. Mama Adeola closed her eyes. "Sleep well, my daughter. Return to the waters that made you. I will still love you, even as clay." From that day, the people of Ileolumo remembered the tale of Mama Adeola and her clay-born daughter. Mothers told it to their children beside the hearth. Elders told it under the moonlight, tapping their walking sticks against the ground. "Do not forget," they would say, "that every gift from the gods carries its law. The river gives and the river takes. Obedience is the bridge between life and loss." And sometimes, on quiet evenings, when the rains fell softly over the village, some swore they saw a small girl's reflection dancing on the river's surface, laughing, free, her spirit one with the water. The mothers would hush their children and whisper, "That is Ami, the child of clay and water, the daughter of Yemoja, who loved too much and stayed too long in the rain." Many years later, when Mama Adeola herself grew old and her hair turned white as sea foam, she returned once more to the riverbank. The villagers watched her go, silent, for they knew she went not to mourn, but to reunite. She knelt by the water as she had done so many years before, and she whispered, "Yemoja, mother of the deep, I have no tears left, only gratitude. You gave me joy, even if only for a short while. Now let me rest where my child sleeps." A soft wind blew, the river rippled, and when the people went there the next morning, they found only her wrapper folded neatly on the bank. No footprints, no body, just calm water glimmering under the dawn. They said Yemoja had taken her home. And so the tale of Omo Ami was sealed, not in stone, but in memory, whispered like a river song through generations. The river that gives life must also take it back. The clay remembers the rain, and the rain remembers the clay.